right, welcome back. This is The Between Stars and Suns, episode 5? Oh my gosh. Okay, so, whew. Recap. So, yeah, Lord Oda was sleeping it off in prison, as far as we know, in jail. And then we have Eligos going to visit the Palais de Gaiete for the West End Wraith threat that reared its head. We don't really know anything except for love never dies, really. And Mildred and Smoke had visited the cathedral, St. Cecilia's Cathedral, and then everybody answered a question to resolve the gargoyle threat for that particular place. Eligos met someone new, and where we're leaving off is night phase. So I will do, again, Eligos needs to invite one of the other hunters to give him the reward from Cremorne. So just saying, like, which hunter you want to give you to name the memento, okay, to describe it, to put it in your personal quarters.
Sure.
And then I will remind everybody of what the Unscene is for this night phase. Okay?
Oh God, I had something prepped. It's gone now. Let's go with Jack. Tell me what I kept.
From Primrose Gardens, we'll say that. Well, let me actually check your inventory right now to see what you have. I was like, what? Why do you have Shibari open? I'm like looking at Ben's sheet. We'll say that she got you a. So she got you a harpoon gun. Why not?
Oh, how droll.
Yeah. She knows you like toys.
Thank you, my lady.
Love it. Oh my God.
She stole it from Madame Tussauds.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a wax harpoon gun? Even better.
If you want, yeah. If you qualify it as a wax harpoon gun, if you like.
I think they would also have real decorations for this. I mean, like, they wouldn't just have everything.
It's honestly an even 50-50 whether Madame Tussauds would have a real.
I just imagine they would have like one of those like wax mannequins in like the old timey divers suits with like the giant brass helmets and like fighting off a giant wax squid with a like harpoon gun.
Yeah, but with I'm saying it's a 50-50 whether they would get a harpoon gun or sculpt a harpoon gun.
I feel like it'd just be cheaper to just have one.
I think they would just have
figure,
one.
Yeah.
You can definitely put in you could put that in there, a real harpoon gun, because I don't think they would try to sculpt that.
Yeah.
That would be silly.
All right, when did night get so big? Totem.
Okay. So next is the reminder of the Unseen. But you know what? Let me just remind you of the resolution that you guys picked for last time first, and then we'll go into the reminder of the Unseen. Okay, so from what I got from the recording, thank God for the recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Great. You decided to use the tome and the name of the demon to get the demon's attention and distract it. And then you're going to use the eye covered in viscera and the hand to, I guess, break apart those pieces from the gargoyle.
No, we were going to use the piece of glass that was
right. But you were going to replace those parts from the gargoyle with those human parts, and then it was going to be Smoke that was going to be doing the slicing, slashing with the glass. Eligos, you were proposing being the one with the dynamite. I will say that Hargrave House has some interesting things in its storerooms. So if you do happen to find a stick or two of dynamite, why not?
I can also just show up with some dynamite.
Yeah. something like
It's
that.
on my
That should,
character sheet.
there
If
you
we
go.
need dynamite, I can just show up with some dynamite.
Right. Okay. Um, we also don't know what's in that box, but besides the masks. But anyway, and then Mildred, like I think you were going to be doing some sort of ritual to kind of banish or contain.
Yeah, I was going to use the Book of Rituals to like, you know.
Perfect. Okay, so Eligos rolled a 13, so that means it's like the theory's definitely right. So you can resolve this like relatively easy. We'll see how this goes. And then we will revisit like in between when we have this hunter scenes. It's like where Lord Oda has been languishing while all of that stuff was going on. Okay? So now we go to the reminder of the Unseen, which was designated as night shift at St. Thomas's. Sitting across the Thames from the Palace of Westminster, St. Thomas's Hospital is London's newest hospital, purpose-built to the most modern standards of medicine. It consists of sprawling wings joined by covered walkways, allowing convalescent patients to take the air during the day. But at night, a skeleton crew struggle to save their charges from the illness, accidents, and violence that stalk the gloom. Okay? So I've designated first prompt to go to Jack, second prompt to go to Ben, third prompt to go to Chris, and then the paint the scene at the end will go to everyone. Okay? So everyone will narrate something for that. Okay? And if you need to follow along, it is the first row, third one over, just in case you want to, be able to see your prompts. Okay? On the London at Night Unseen tab. Okay. All right. So, let's open it up. Unseen prompt 1. A destitute woman is in the throes of a complicated birth. A porter holding her down while a surgeon prepares to operate. How do we know the child will never meet their birth mother?
So we cut to a pretty frantic scene happening in this wing of the hospital, and we see that there's a doctor and at least 2 nurses, one of whom is trying to subdue this woman, and the woman is, strangely enough, she appears to be a very old woman, probably somewhere in her 60s, thin, wiry, web-like gray hair, and emaciated looking frame, gaunt, but she has this very large distended stomach, like a like a woman who was pregnant would have, but there's this troublesome look on the doctor's face, so his lower half is concealed by a mask. The woman who is in the throes of labor is coming in and out of consciousness. She's muttering to herself, but we can't really understand the words that she's saying. None of them seem to make sense. They're the random words, pearl and glass and alley and brick and stone. And after about an hour of procedure, in which there is very little to no anesthesia used, given the quality of this particular procedure and this hospital. But after the surgery is done, the woman lays just kind of splayed apart, covered in a sheet. There's copious amounts of blood. She struggles to try and lift herself up, but the nurse, at least one of the nurses, is trying to keep her down. But she and we as the camera look, and we see the doctor hand a nurse a swaddled bundle, but coming out of the swaddle, we see what appears to be some kind of infant, or at least the shape of an infant, but its skin is strange. It's beyond just the blood that it's covered in. Its skin has this craggy, almost stone-like texture, and the doctor immediately shoves the package, the bundle, into the nurse's hand, who she retches a bit as she folds it and wraps the baby into the sheets even more and begins to rush out of the room. And the woman who has just given birth to the stone baby finally just passes out and looks up to the ceiling, and her eyes lower, and we cut back.
And we cut to... You all are at Hargrave House, and you're all getting ready to go and face the demon, making whatever preparations you need to make. If you have anything to say to each other, you Smoke, you Mildred, and you Eligos, I would suggest doing it now as you're making your preparations.
Yeah, I'd say that Mildred is at least kind of gathering essential things, candles, herbs, burners. Is sort of doing a once and twice over the book of rituals that they have, just making sure that she's got everything that she needs to make sure that she can perform the ritual, so that Eligos and Smoke can physically dispatch the gargoyle.
Smoke is probably like, so the piece of glass that I have from the bursting open of a window, I'm going to be sort of, I've been like Smoke's been playing with it for a while, so I think they're gonna like there are a lot of random, well, not that there weren't before, but the number of random arbitrary scratches on sort of Smoke's room on their furniture and things like that has just greatly increased because I've just been sort of playing around with it and seeing how it does.
And then you can see from doing this practice that it is not obviously an ordinary piece of glass, especially with the viscera that is still sticking to it. So, I mean, like, you know that, through your practice, it's like, you can make some very true, very, very accurate cuts. And for the way it's affecting the different things that you've made cuts in, it's like, this will be effective against the stone gargoyle. So,
Do you mind if I add something to that?
absolutely.
So because the stone gargoyle is once an inanimate object, what if when Smoke has been cutting through some of the objects in their room, maybe like a bed frame or something, it happens to draw blood?
Like that detail.
If Eirinar okay with that.
Oh yeah, no, I have no, like, yeah, that is yeah, I think yeah, I mean, I think with that, like, Smoke is more impressed than anything, or amused almost with that piece of, yeah.
Is your jackalope watching? And it's like, are you bringing the jackalope with you to the cathedral?
Great question. I think I will bring the jackalope. Jackalope's probably just got its own corner in the like little bed in the room. So if I've been playing around with the thing in my room, it's probably seen it. Uh, yeah, I will bring the jackalope along. Also, question. I don't remember. Did I roll quickening last time?
You did, and that's why you have drained again.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then, did you name the jackalope yet, officially?
Go with mirror because then we could be Smoke and mirror. But if other people have ideas, I'm actually pretty open to it. Like, I'm not particularly attached or anything like that.
Did you show everybody else the jackalope?
I think sorry, Mildred was with me, right, when we went to the. So Mildred's seen it. I think the rest of them will just see it as we make this trip. If they haven't already.
Mildred thinks Mirror is a very cute name.
And Eligos, it's like, what kind of prep or what kind of accoutrements are you bringing to the cathedral for this?
Well, I mean, I suppose I'm bringing you the essentials: rope, grappling hooks, dynamite, a torch, pickaxe in case things get really messy.
Now, of course, it's like Lord Oda still owes for the window, for the stained glass window that was in the cathedral. Hopefully he'll be able to cover the, any kind of damage that the dynamite causes. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Speaking of which, Lord Oda. So, I think we pan the, we transition, we fade into the prison. Like you can hear yells and screams and just kind of catcalling and just gruff and noisy and angry voices just kind of echoing through the prison, the jail walls and the hallways. And then of course the bobbies are like kind of banging their nightsticks against the bars of the cells and just says like, "Shut up, you lot! Shut the F up!" And then yeah, so I imagine that Lord Oda has managed to cadge a cell all to himself, luckily, through, I'm sure, like some followers amongst the force. So this way you're not accosted or harassed. What are you feeling? What are you thinking as you're trying to slowly recover in your own way from your encounter the other night?
Well, I wish that the staff was well trained enough to treat me kindly, but you see that this prison, it's not quite so. You see, I was not only assaulted verbally and physically by the criminals around here, but the bobbies are at the whim of that investigator. They're too, how do we say, disciplined. They're too lawful. You see, as the camera zooms in, we see Lord Oda on the floor, with hands shackled and beaten. The colors of greens and yellows and blues all over his body. He is a broken man, physically, but almost the viewer can see spiritually as well. You see the hand of an inspector like grabbing his hair and asking him how he did it that night. And he says, "I will not tell you." And he says, if you were not a lord, we would kill you tomorrow. You would be executed. But we have ways of making you speak. And the inspector goes away, and Lord Oda is there. And he's looking at a crack in the floor that looks like a cross that's slowly spreading. And he feels like he's not alone. He feels quite vulnerable.
I think at that point that you are hearing like a bit of a hubbub in the front of the jail. And you hear voices, few raised, like above the cacophony that's coming from the other prisoners. And one of them sounds distantly like a woman's voice. And we're going to cut away to the unseen. In the casualty waiting room, the experienced ward sister Mary O'Brien triages the sick and wounded. Who does she see, and will they live or die? Ben.
Yeah. Well, you see a few varied suspects. And I'm thinking of last night when I went with my grandmother to the hospital because her leg hurt. And there's all these different folks with different illnesses, different states of being, different ages. They're all there waiting for the help, but the help only goes to those of most need and those most likely to succeed, and those of most wealth. We see a worker from the tube, and her leg is almost severed, and it's malcolored, and the above of the knee, there's like a cloth with a bandage and a stick between it, so that the pulse from the heart does, the arteries shut completely, and so that she does not bleed out. And she will survive tonight. She will lose the lower part of her leg, and as she goes to work, maybe in a week or two, it will start to spread an infection, and she will die within a month. We see a lord. He has a deep and profound cough, almost, and it feels like it's from deeper than his gullet. It racks his body, but he has 3 nurses with him, and they will care for him and prescribe what is necessary. And he holds a cross, a stone cross, to his chest. We see Ms. What's her name? Mary. We see Mary go to a young boy. He's just 8 years old, and he's malnourished, and he's sick, and he doesn't speak like the other people do. He's has trouble expressing what he needs, and she will go to him and say, "My child, I will help you, and you may not know what to say, but I can help you in 10 minutes or so. Whether it's you who's in need, or your guardian back home, I'll give you what I can." And she will feed him and help him recover. And he'll have disabilities for life, but she will have helped him this night, in this fortnight, recover from his illness and live the best life he can.
Okay. So, speeding over to the cathedral, you come out of the carriage, you 3, and it is dark. There's no one tending any of the lit candles inside. And it just has this pall of being very quiet and silent. You don't hear any night sounds outside, and definitely nothing when you get inside the cathedral itself. What do?
I think as the 3 of us are standing in front of the church, and there's this eerie silence, and the adjacent graveyard, which is unoccupied, Mildred will look to Smoke and say, "You have the glass, yes?"
Smoke is not gonna say anything. They're just gonna hold it up and, yeah, nod slightly.
"I'll need it for the first part of the ritual. When the first part of the ritual is done, just take it from me, and Eligos, when the creature, the gargoyle, shows itself, I need both of you to just make sure that it stays put. I will do everything that I can to keep it bound, but my attention will be solely on that. I will not be able to make sure that it can't leave physically, and that nothing else can enter the church. So if both of you can just make sure that everything's secure elsewhere, I would very much appreciate it."
It will be done.
Smoke's going to nod slightly.
"Yes, very well." And Mildred stiffens her back up and puffs her chest up a bit. And as the three of them start to walk, say with a flick of her wrist, the church doors begin to creak open. And she has the book under her other hand, with the glass kind of pressed in between her arm and the book. But yeah, she'll go inside, and hopefully the others will follow her. You're muted.
Thank you. Just want to get a sense of positioning. So it's like, once Mildred goes in, where do you go, Eligos and Smoke, to position yourselves to get ready for what will happen?
Is there a side entrance? Also, is this? I can't believe I've never asked this, but is the church cruciform? Are there like wings
Yes, there
of
are.
seating?
Yeah, there's wings of seating for sure. But it's all one level, so it's like you're not going to see like any balconies or anything like that, or any high.
Yeah, no, but there are, so presumably there'd be a side entrance. My ideal is to flank from the arms of the cross.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so basically it's like, you have the center, which could be like, where the font is for, baptisms
Yeah.
and such, but then, like there's the aisles, excuse me, forming the bars of the cross for sure. Okay. So, and then Smoke, where would you like to be positioned for this?
Where is the gargoyle precisely compared to like the sort of entrance of the church?
You don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know. We never saw the gargoyle, right?
Yeah, we haven't summoned it
Um,
yet.
Right. I am going to just sort of stand along one of the close to one of the other windows, like an unbroken one, of course, because this was from inside. Just stand close to a window and sort of lean against it as Mildred is setting up her stuff.
I think as you guys are getting set up, and then Mildred is beginning, I guess, the ritual, putting things together, you hear, not by your ears, but you hear within your bones, each of you, you hear breathing. It's deep, and it's resonant, and you almost feel the words, "Smell you." And we cut away to Lord Oda, back at the prison. So, Lord Oda, you hear these voices approaching your cell in the back of the jail. And it is a woman. You do recognize, you're not lifting your eyes from that crack in the floor, but you do hear that there's a distinct woman's voice, and she's talking with, I guess, the detective inspector or whomever's on duty at this point of the evening. It's like, well, yes, it's like I'm here to well, I know Lord Oda's here. I don't, no. Detective Inspector, I think it's time that you learn that I am the one that's going to be taking care of these little details. Goodness. It's like, go off and investigate somewhere else. I can handle this. Father O'Donnell is here to see to Lord Oda's faithful duties. And so, you see appearing at the bars of your cell, if you do look up, there is this older woman, still very, very toothsome. She's very beautiful for her age, which is older than your apparent age, probably like in her 40s or so, 40s, 50s, with the blonde hair, like with a little tangle of gray in it, but she's wearing an elaborate hat. She's wearing white cloak type dress, and she's got Father O'Donnell in tow. You don't remember him, perhaps, except from him telling you about the problem at the cathedral. And he's looking rather worried behind her, saying, Yes, Lady Sojourn here had said that you were going to be needing some confession administered. I had your name. I don't know if you remember me, Lord Oda. He's speaking through the bars. But you had talked with me, and I had told you about the problem at the cathedral with that gargoyle. Do you remember? Are you all right? You're on mute.
Lord Oda looks up from the crack. It's across on the floor. It's the edges of them almost seem to be budding out. And he trails along the wet, muddy surface, and he gasps a bit, for his leg, which was the lower part shattered, still pains him. He looks up at the father before him, and he says, "Are you a man of faith?"
Of course I am. He's clutching his Bible. He's got the rosary stuff in hand, and he's like, calling to one of the bobbies. It's like, let me in. I need to administer to this man right now. And then they do, and then he comes in, and then this woman sweeps in behind him and just stands at the cell door watching you two. But he will come over and actually kneel to be on about the same level as you, and won't touch your hands, won't try to reach for you or in any way, but he will hold his Bible and his rosary and then say, "How can I help you in this difficult time? Do you need to confess?"
Father, I've seen many people in robes, and not all of them are truly of faith. But in this moment, I may say things that will shock you. But I hope you hear. I know that book that you hold. I've seen the words written. Father, I have sinned. I have... Lord Oda looks around. I've made off with wives and husbands, none who were my own. I've spoken blasphemy against the Creator, cavorted with inhuman entities. I have reveled in inciting idolatry, seduced and kidnapped, performed grotesque murder, beckoned licentiousness of a rabbi's daughter, struck and cursed my own parent, and have broken the Sabbath. Father, I have performed augury and have suffered the company of witches. I have been called heedless and hedonistic to my fellows, and it is true. I have lost all true desire and concern for mortals like you. I've been using you as playthings and experiments, and worst of all, I wear pastels. I have sinned, it's true. And yet only now do I realize that I do have guilt for some of my actions. I have hurt so many, but worst of all, I've betrayed someone I truly loved. I saw them die before me, and there was my fault. And I've just been sitting here alone on the floor, wet and broken, and I just can't forget. What am I to do? Father, I can't hear you.
He will kneel closer to you, and he will not take your hands, but he will lean in close and say that, "Is there any way that you can seek any of those that live still, and seek their forgiveness for the wrongs that you've done. You can atone. You are confessing, so it is a step. It is a step in the right direction. But, I mean, you can ask for forgiveness. You can go through trials to experience life as they've experienced it, wronged by you.
Father, I suppose so. I've lived my life as a rebellious child of sorts, and I've wanted people to apologize to me, that I have been the wronged party. But perhaps it's time, because I don't think anyone will recognize the wrong. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the vile one, in truth. There are those who live still, and I could seek them out, and perhaps by doing so, could somehow figure a way to find out how I could earn the forgiveness of those who are not here anymore. I've never done this before.
I cannot say anything about the ones who are no longer on this earth. I can only speak for those that are around now. You might want to seek them out and earn their forgiveness in whatever manner that they will deem redeemable. In this case, I can at least accept your confession. And then he goes through the ceremony, the rite, and will mechanically you get one condition cleared. Obviously not most beloved, but one of the other two. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'd
clear
like
that.
stench of death.
Yeah, sure. And then he will again encourage you to seek their forgiveness. And from our conversation online, like offline, it's like I'm assuming this is part of your custom move that you're going to add to your playbook?
It is.
So,
It is.
all right.
I look up to him and I bow my head. And I sleep.
And the woman is still by the bars. And what she'll do is like she will quietly gesture to Father O'Donnell once he's done. And then you get some rest. But obviously you seem to be in, like, putting your head in his lap. Okay, so he will stay there for as long as you need, but the woman will kind of remain standing. But she has a smile on her face as she contemplates you both. And back to the Unseen. The young nurse, Agnes Pell, walks the tuberculosis ward, silent but for the labored breathing and hacking coughs of her charges. Who do we see among the gaunt, pale patients that shows death respects neither age nor rank?
We see the Honorable Lord Avery Adler, who is pouring himself has, despite everything, tried his very best to keep his mustache in perfect oiled suitability. And he is pouring himself a fine brandy as a hacking cough takes over him, and he not only coughs blood into the brandy itself, but also drops the bottle, and it spills, and he is left covered in his own stinking mess.
All right. So, at the cathedral, After you hear those words and feel what you feel, there is a tearing scream that rents the air, and then you hear from the recesses of the high part of the cathedral in the corner closest to the altar, you see first 2 eyes, and then almost like stars bursting into little clusters around in the darkness near those first 2. And then you can hear the flap of giant wings, and the gargoyle begins to make its approach. It is centered on you, Mildred.
Mildred looks up and she just glares at it and finishes lighting the candles that are around her. And the book is open to the passage that she needs, the ritual that she needs, right in front of her. She's on her knees and looking up at this thing, looking into its many eyes, but sort of just focused on the center ones. She takes up the piece of glass and she opens her mouth and sticks out her tongue and begins to drag it down, cutting into it deeply. And she winches, but then tosses it towards smoke. And she lets the blood sort of pour out of her mouth onto the page. But because of that like strange celestial viscera, there's like this like almost golden iridescence to the blood now as it's pouring onto the page. And in a language that none of them understand, and in a voice that none of them have ever heard, not even Eligos, it resonates, it booms, it carries a space to it that seems otherworldly, but she begins to recite Legion, every name that she can translate that belongs to this creature. And she begins to utter it over and over and over. And as she does, the flames on the candles begin to just become these like pillars of fire around her. And the floral offerings that she had brought all begin to erupt in flame. And she's just encircled in flame right now. And the blood is just coursing out of her mouth, and she's not lost eye contact with this creature. It's almost as if she's egging it on, saying, "Come to me."
And as this is happening, Eligos, Smoke, what are your actions? And then I will have you to roll as Mildred continues the ritual. It is descending. I will say that you can see the gargoyle now. It's coming out of the shadows. All of its eyes are open in its twisted, deformed stone way, and then the great wings are beating. There is some kind of smoke that's kind of drifting off of these wings as it descends. So it is flapping like a gigantic crow, but I mean, like, again, it almost seems like the feathers are made of smoke.
Okay. I am going to run forward towards it, almost recklessly. And as I do so, I encounter this smoke, and despite my general experience with cigarettes and such, like it feels different, like it's suffocating me. So I'm just going to I stumble for a bit and I'm coughing, but I continue, and then I approach the creature. Like as I get closer to the creature, I sort of slow down. It's a little reverent, but I mean, I am still very much like looking to, fight it. Just I am slowing down and staring at the gargoyle as I approach it.
And Eligos?
I dunk a grappling hook in the baptismal font and send that baby skyward.
Okay. So, can coordinate the moves or like do them separately. Either way, it's like a risky move for you both. So go ahead and roll. Hold on. I think for you, Smoke, it is definitely disadvantage because of your conditions. And then for you, Eligos, you should be fine. And let's see. Hmm. I'm gonna say go ahead and take advantage because you're trying to use something in your stores. Okay?
Is that me or
And then
Smoke?
Smoke, if you want to try to use something in your personal quarters to cancel out that disadvantage, you can if you want.
Oh, I guess a harpoon would be useful. Maybe later.
For each of you, what do you think is going to go wrong? I forgot to
Wait,
ask.
am I rolling at advantage or am I canceling disadvantage?
You don't have any disadvantage,
Okay.
so you would roll at advantage. But like risky move for both of you. What do you think can go wrong?
I am scared that I will cut myself with this strange glass that's not normal glass. Maybe because I angle it wrong or something like that. And I think, I mean, yeah, I'm not quite sure what will happen if I cut myself, but you know, it seems like a situation best avoided.
I'm relying on the lure of Lady Mildred and hopefully also the holy water to keep this thing, make sure the grappling hook's effective. But if it's not, I'm going up there with it.
Okay. I'm going to say that if it goes wrong for both of you, then what's going to happen is Eligos, you will not only go up with the grappling hook and get snagged on the gargoyle in some way, but I think you're going to get in each other's way, and then Smoke is going to stab you with the viscera glass.
Ooh.
So that is how it can go very wrong. Okay.
Ooh.
So please, both of you roll with whatever I just said, and then risky. So I think it's both vitality. So
Do I even have that? Let's see.
So that's a fail for me, but I will probably use a
just reminder.
mask.
Remember. Wait, hold on. Let me think. No, you guys already used the Mask of Penance. Damn. Never mind.
Is there any way I can get a post facto +1 because I have a 9 on the dice?
Even with advantage.
Yeah, even with advantage, I rolled a 3, a 4, and a 5.
Damn. You can use a mask if you want. Same with you, Smoke.
Oh yeah, I'm using a mask. I rolled a 5.
Okay.
So absolutely.
You know what? I'm fine with the 9, I think.
Okay. Oh my gosh. 9. Okay. All right. So, yeah, let me head back over to Lord Oda. Let's see. Okay. So, I think after a little bit, what's going to happen is you're going to be shaken gently awake by a gentle gloved hand, and you somehow realize that, instead of being in Father O'Donnell's lap, you're actually in this woman's lap now. You're enfolded in her beautiful silk, like white silk cloak, robes, dress that she's wearing. And she's
is still in the disciplinary, the what is it called, the prison?
Yeah, you're still in the jail cell, and she's got your head in her lap, and she's gently, with her gloved hand, she's smoothing down your brow, and then like gently moving the hair from your face, and just looking down at you with this smile, like a very knowing smile.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, Keeper, have I seen this woman before?
You have not seen her before. She is completely new to you.
Okay.
Did you have a nice rest, Lord Oda?
The days are long, and I will never have a final rest, my dear, but it was a nice nap, especially to see someone as beautiful as you to look up to.
Oh, you are such a darling boy. You remind me of my Kemuel. Oh, ah, he is just as complimentary, which is lovely. Are you rested?
I would say I feel better than ever.
The night is young, so I propose that we bring you back to Hargrave House for a bit of refreshment and some cleansing, if you will. She looks down at you, at your body, and as bruised and as broken as it is.
I will need a shoulder to lean on the way. Would you do that,
Absolutely.
lady?
Of course. Of course. And then what she will do is she will kind of gesture or kind of make some kind of clicking noise with her hand as well as her mouth to outside of the jail cell. And you didn't know this because you were just being roused from sleep. But there is a gentleman out there, rather large, but probably of medium size, so not too tall. And he is dressed in a somber suit with like a bowler hat of sorts, kind of longish blonde hair with like a bit of a goatee and a mustache, possibly some mutton chops on the side. And he will do a small bow as he clacks his heels together. Yes, Mom. Ah, Turing. Lovely. Thank you. Let us get a carriage ready. No. Oh, actually, Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Just make sure that the carriage is outside, ready for us to go. I'm going to escort Lord Oda outside, and then we are going to head back to Hargrave House so he can get himself freshened up. We have a long night ahead of us, of course. Very good, Mum. And then he clacks his heels again and then leaves. Presumably to get this cab or to get the carriage ready. And then she looks back down at you. What say you, Lord Oda? A little bit of a refreshment and then some entertainment for the rest of the evening.
Madam, I am at your service. And especially Kitty bows his head, and there's a grin. He says, I'm so glad you're here because you're far more beautiful than any of my fellows at Hargrave House who've neglected to come visit me.
Oh, we will be seeing them quite soon, I'm sure.
Well, I prefer to have you come fetch me from the cell and be my partner for the evening. And we hear like from around like all the prison cats start to purr in the building at once. He tries to get up.
She will help you slowly get up. As she does, and you may or may not notice this, but she has a look in her eye of being very calculating, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
But she will help you up all the same, slowly, gently, and to make sure that she will be able to escort you out of the jail cell. And we close with the last unseen. Paint the scene, everyone. As dawn begins to break, how do we see the staff dealing with the stress of the night before, knowing they will be back again soon?
I think we see see the doctor who had performed who had performed the emergency C-section on the old woman earlier in the night. He, as the sun's coming over the Thames, he will start to head to one of the neighborhood brothels, I think. And I think there he, on his way though, there is a church, and there's this strange sort of moment of conflict where he looks at the church and then he sees down the block that there's a known brothel that's, it doesn't advertise as a brothel on the outside, but anyone in the neighborhood knows it is. And he has this conflict of faith and whether or not he should indulge in something of virtue rather than vice this night. But he begins to approach the church and he looks back down the street and he sees some of the men coming and going from this establishment, and he looks back up at the church and sees the stone face of Christ just looming over in the threshold, and there's something unsettling to him about it. This isn't the place for him. This is not, at least not this morning. And it's out of habit, he just gives himself the Holy Cross symbol across his body, and then takes a deep breath and steps down away from the church and begins to make his way and continue towards the brothel down the other end of the block.
I think so. One of the nurses, she is the one who was dealing with that young child earlier. She's doing like she's sitting in what's a little sort of staff room or nurse's room kind of situation, and she's sitting there and like her eyes look hollow, and she's not really. I mean, someone comes and calls her, and she doesn't really respond to them. She's sort of just sitting there staring at the walls and ceilings and just basically completely entirely out of it for what seems like at least a non-trivial amount of time, a few hours.
Chris or Ben?
Chris, can you go before me? I'm still thinking about how to.
Sure, I've got one. I think we see a couple of orderlies, maybe a nurse, maybe a younger doctor, all playing a game of poker in either the cafeteria or in some supply closet somewhere. And the ante isn't in cash or in chips, it's in an amount of jewelry and stolen valuables that they definitely can't afford on an orderly's salary. Probably snagged from the morgue.
We see Agnes Pell, the young nurse from the TB ward. She is in a very strange place. We see her walking in black and white in this dark tunnel beneath the church where the hunters were in vicious combat the night before. Deep down below, where there are chambers of worship. And in her arms is a swaddled cloth, and she walks and walks to this place. And at the end of a long tunnel is a crypt door that opens with a gasp, and we see the bundle start to shift and shake. And she steps out into this beautiful garden, almost a Zen garden of sorts, with blood flowing, with blood-like water flowing in the waters that lead to a bridge to an island where there is a small bath of sorts that's filled with the similar liquid. And she uncovers the swaddle, and there is this stone baby, scaly and strange. And she places it in the bath, and it starts to crack, the skin of it, and it starts to shake, and the surface starts to ripple as she does a baptism of sorts to her god. And she says, I have found one. This is a creature for you, my Lord Oda. And the baby starts to wail, a wail of an old woman. And the stone falls away, and the camera goes black.
All right. So, Eligos, you got a 9. Smokey, you are taking a mask. So, I think Smoke in your like run up to this thing, like, you know, maybe you leap off of the well, actually, like, you know, tell me how you reach the creature as it's descending to be able to engage with the viscera covered glass.
I'm going to say as it descends, like I said, I slow down, but just before it's about to hit the ground, I let out a cry which doesn't sound like me, but well, someone who has seen me in different situations might know that it's me. And uh, the and I just sort of, with a lot of rage that I didn't know I had, I was just going to sort of jump off and leap towards the creature and go for its sort of one side of its neck. That's the sort of area I'm going for. Just sort of like what would usually be like the jugular or that sort of area, but to slice across instead of stab.
I think as you're doing that, I think that Eligos's grappling hook like manages to wrap around your leg instead of the gargoyle itself. So you get a little tangled in there, so you feel the drag of Eligos starting to come up, and then like almost pull you off of the creature. And then Eligos, you are being dragged from this creature coming down, like, you know, trying to descend to get to Mildred, and then, like, you know, you kind of hook onto Smoke instead. Tell me how you, like, you know, try to right this so this way you are not going to I guess crash or disrupt what Mildred is doing.
Okay, so I have not. Have I put the grappling hook into the gargoyle or not?
You have not hooked it into the gargoyle. What ended up happening is that the grappling hook managed to hook around like Smoke's leg as they were trying to like stab into the creature.
May as well. I mean, I brought one other tool for the job. That's not true. I probably have a second grappling hook, but that's not interesting. Let's hook some dynamite.
Okay. Go
Right?
for it. Tell me what
Do
it
they
looks
do
like.
they have like road flares? I don't think they do in Victorian times. Whatever. A bottle of phosphorus, but that's not going to do anything. Let's huck some dynamite. Oh. That is another 9.
I'm gonna ask, would you like to bump that up with a mask?
No.
Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna say that, in this tangle, instead of getting the gargoyle, you end up pulling um, smoke a little bit off of the creature, but luckily it's like smoke has already stabbed into the gargoyle and it's working. So as you're drawing smoke off, then smoke is able to create a deep gouge into the creature's back, in like popping out some of the eyes, and it screams, and it's basically almost screaming into Mildred's face. I will say that remember your move, so for the you always take a +1, I believe, or if not +1, then it's advantage. Let's see. Rolls associated with any action done in direct defense of your employer are taken with advantage.
Oh,
So,
then I should roll a second dice.
yes.
That is a 6.
Okay.
That's an 11.
All right. So you succeed. So you do manage to recover it somehow, like where you do the rest of the line onto the gargoyle and then pull it back so it does not get at Mildred. Mildred, tell me what the end of this ritual looks like as the creature is being pulled like away and kept from disrupting you.
Seeing that the two of them are kind of faced with the immensity of this creature, and they're doing their best to perform the physical part of the ritual, but it's almost too big for them. This creature is sizable and it's strong, and even though I think Smoke is able to, with Eligos's help of the grappling hook, the dynamite, trying to subdue it and trying to get one of the eyes out so it can swap it out. There's still the hand that needs to be dealt with, and Mildred, seeing this, she begins to exert a force of herself to call upon something else. There's like a second voice that begins to speak in another dark language, along with the continuous recitation of the names of this creature. And this other voice begins to call out to something. And we see that the smoke that's been forming around from the burning candles and flowers that were encircling her, the smoke begins to billow behind her. And we see looming from behind the smoky silhouette of this very large, hunched over humanoid entity. It's massive and bulky, and the eyes are like the embers of these flowers, just kind of swirling. And the smoke itself just reaches out and grabs the gargoyle and presses it into the ground and wrenches its hand out from underneath itself, offering it up to Smoke to essentially amputate the hand. And as Smoke, I imagine, starts to saw it off, Mildred looks up to Eligos to give them the hand so that they can supplant it, replace it. And when they finish putting the new body parts into this creature, Mildred's body starts to float up off the ground, and she just kind of spreads herself open. And when she does, the smoky entity takes its very large, almost like ape-like arms and pulls the gargoyle apart, shattering it in half. And Mildred just falls to the ground, and the smoke and the flames dissipate immediately, and she just lays there unconscious.
What did they see? What do you, Eligos, and what do you, Smoke, see after this gargoyle is shattered, and Mildred is now unconscious on the floor?
I feel like I'm mostly concerned with Mildred at this point.
That's fine.
So
I think Smoke's sort of reaction to this is going to be to take out their gun and shoot a few more of the sort of eyes, just because, just to sort of make sure it's dead, kind of thing, and just yeah, and sort of circle around this gargoyle that's what ripped in half, basically. Just yeah, circle around and then sort of kneel next to it, like just sort of run their hand on it, examine it a little bit, so you see the marks that the viscera has made, and also the structure of the gargoyle itself, knowing that Eligos is probably going to take care of Mildred, so they don't necessarily need to deal with that right now.
All right. And so we move past this scene of Eligos tending to the unconscious Mildred, and then Smoke, doing the gunshots and just double checking and then kind of like looking through the rubble of the shattered gargoyle. We move the camera outside to the darkness, and then you see, well, the audience sees that there are 3 figures outside, just kind of peering in, like out of the way of the light. One very tall and thin, one somewhat squat but wiry, and another one, an absolute unit of a man who looks like his shoulders are hunched but getting ready to fight. And they just look in, nod at each other, and then proceed to leave. And then let's go over to Lord Oda. Lord Oda, this woman who's introduced herself as Lady Edwina Sojourn, she is helping you to this carriage, slowly. She has her arm with yours, entwined in yours, and with her other hand, she's kind of like just patting your other hand that's on her arm. And she's just talking, a mile a minute. I don't know if you're actually listening to anything that she's saying, but she is promising that once that you're cleaned up, then there will be a night of entertainment ahead. And she mentions the Palais de Gaiete. I don't know if that means anything to you at all, but she does mention it.
The whole time, Lord Oda's watching her lips move. And there's the strangest thing where you see, as she's talking, there's almost like there's like a flower smothering her words, like she has a mouth, like a flower in her mouth. And he's just watching it, and it's making him reminds him of Mildred Bloom. And then, as she's watching this beautiful lady, that's all he can think about. Mildred Bloom and the blossoms she puts forth. And he listens and hears, oh, there'll be a entertainment. And he knows when they step in the carriage, this lady will get more entertainment than she's had in months. And the whole time, he's smiling, and he asks in a very subtle way, and I think we just leave it there.
I will say that once the carriage is opened by the individual that you heard was named Turing, you'll see in the carriage is an individual you've never met before, but he sits rather jauntily in the carriage in the corner opposite to the door, wearing his dark, embroidered moon and star suit, just with a jaunty air like, look, we've got some fun tonight. Lady Edwina. Ha! And we fade out to black from there. So. And thus endeth night phase. After the scene in the church, as Eligos, Mildred, and Smoke make their way out, making sure everything's reasonable, quiet, and still, they come out of the church to find an individual out here waiting for them in what looks like a hansom cab that has the initials REC on the side. And it's a rather unique individual that seems to be waiting. He's dressed in tartan, and as you near, then you get the distinct smell of horse from this person. Whiskered, has a bit of an air about him of having waited for you all. And as you approach, he says, "Ah, good evening. You be from Hargrave House, yes?"
Hi, sir.
"Yes. Pardon. My name's Gareth Kellogg. I run this hansom cab, and I am here to bring you back to Hargrave House on the orders of Milady, and we are going to bring you back, and then we will take you all for a night of entertainment, as far as I understand it. So, if you will be so kind as to come inside, and I will make this as quick as possible. Yes."
Mildred's still unconscious. I mean, I can wake her up for the narrative if you want, but
Oh, no. I mean, he sees that, and he's just like, "Ah, looks like your friend's a bit out of it. Little bit of too much of the sacristal wine." Sorry. My apologies. Bit of humor there. Yes, I will be taking you back to Hargrave House for a bit of freshening up, as I understand it. Please come on in. And then he opens up the cab door to usher you guys inside. And what that means.
I am going to give him a glare before I'm not sure I like you yet. Glare before I step in. Like it's not. It might look even more rude than it was probably intended by Smoke, but yeah. I'm so sorry. There's someone sleeping in my room.
We've all been
Mermaids.
there.
Yeah.
So you're Evelyn's creature then?
Oh, Mr. No. Mr. Foster is merely an associate. I am here by the orders of Lady Edwina Sojourn.
That was the name, right, of the person I met, was Evelyn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Evelyn Foster.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And if we don't come quietly, you will...
I will, I suppose, leave you here, but it seems that your friend needs at least a little attention, and going back to Hargrave House would be a fine idea.
If only that's where you were taking us.
It is. 'Tis.
As I'm sort of glaring at him, and as I'm sort of like trying to figure out if he is, if he is, taking us where he's like, is there a way I can sort of stare at him and potentially like make him uncomfortable enough to figure out whether or not he's telling the truth?
I'm gonna say you can roll with presence. if you want to try to figure that out.
Okay, I will do that. Uh, you know what? What I'm also going to do is I am just going to like. No, this is fine. I'll just roll with presence. It's fine. Yeah. Like as Eligos is talking, I'm just sort of like glaring at him and like narrowing my eyes and stuff. What is my presence? Is it a 1? It is a 1. Alrighty. That is an 8 total.
Okay. I think as you're looking at this individual and Eligos is talking to him, I think your jackalope, I think Mirror comes out and kind of snuffles outside of your coat and like takes a sniff and a look at him and will actually jump out of your coat and then go over to him, and then he sees Mirror and goes, "Oh, I have not seen one of these little things since I was a wee lad. You are so cute." He'll actually pick up Mirror and then like, hold Mirror in his hands and just kind of like be this doting pet owner, but like obviously Mirror's not his pet, but he'll still do it anyway. It's like, "Oh, you wee lucky, look at this. Oh my goodness. Do you mind if he sits next to me up in the I mean, I'm happy to drive you back to Hargrave House, but I'd like this little fella to be right next to me. Is that all right?"
Would we like to allow you to take a hostage? No.
Not
I'm going to
hostage.
I'm going to let out a sound that sounds almost a little bit like a growl and just sort of walk up to him and like snatch Mirror in a way that's not going to hurt Mirror but might like scratch this man with my nails if I can, as I sort of just take Mirror and like put it back in my coat and it's like and just walk away and just still be like pretty sulky about this whole affair.
Eligos, what's going on?
We're being abducted, milady. I'm handling it.
By
You're
whom?
not being abducted.
You keep saying that.
Well, you keep
Prove it.
saying it. I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself to you, milady. I am Gareth Kellogg. I run this handsome cab on behalf of the Royal Explorers Club. I've been... Sorry, words. I've been hired out for the evening by Lady Edwina Sojourn. She has ordered me to take you back to Hargrave House to get freshened up, and then she's mentioned some sort of entertainment for this evening.
At Hargrave House.
I think she mentioned it was going to be at the like somewhere in the West End, the Palais de Gaiete. Yeah, something like that.
Gaiety. It's French.
Yes. But
Take
it
us
looks
back
like
to-
you need a little bit of refreshment first. I mean, like I am glad to take you as I've been hired to back to Hargrave House in a twinkling, and then, go along your way. Yes.
Eligos, didn't you go to the play earlier today?
I did. I met a very interesting woman who seemed quite intent on menacing me out of my cab.
Mildred looks away from Eligos, and I assume she's sort of still like cradled into him, but like pushes herself upright and tries to present an air of someone who didn't just help tear apart a demon. She goes to the cabbie and we will go to Hargrave House as you have so graciously offered us, and we will freshen up, and those of us who choose to go with you will go with you, and those of us who choose not to go, and she looks at Smoke, may have that choice of their own volition.
Of course.
And with that, Mildred smiles back at Eligos and then looks to Smoke and says, "It's all right." And she'll climb into the cab.
Indeed. And then so he will, as he said, he will bring you back to Hargrave House as fast as he can, which is pretty damn fast while still being a comfortable ride. And it is a very well-appointed carriage, can I tell you? I mean, like, you're talking Royal Explorers Club here, okay?
Plush.
Plush. It's plush. I mean, shit, you may even find some refreshments, like, on a little sidebar. Or like,
Yeah,
in
there
the
better
carriage.
be a little sidebar. A little
Yeah, it's like
cocktail,
the mini bar inside the carriage.
some
Yes,
complimentary
indeed.
nuts, you know. Just...
Yeah, exactly. No, they don't have nuts in it, like the little cakes. Are you kidding? Come on
yeah.
now.
There you go.
Come on now. Jeez.
Well, if they're sweets, yeah, Mildred will certainly look at it, sniff it, make sure it doesn't smell like poison, and then just have a little bonbon.
Oh no, these are the best things. I mean, like, from the like the best
Patisserie.
chocolatier or the confectionery or whatever the hell's
Yeah.
that they've got. So it's quite nice. So you find yourselves back at Hargrave House around the same time that Lord Oda seems to be climbing out of a carriage with a woman in resplendent flowing white. She's got like I put the pictures in the London tab, by the way, of Lady Edwina and Turing. So, and yeah, she seems to be helping him out of the carriage because he looks pretty worse for wear, like for Lord Oda. Smoke, you might think like he looks a little bit worse than he did when he was having fun the other night. So it's like, oh, here's the rest of Hargrave House. So wonderful. Hi. Hello. I am Lady Edwina Sojourn. It's wonderful that Gareth has brought you back so quickly. Well, I assume your business at the cathedral had gone so well, yes?
What do you know about business at the cathedral?
Oh, I know it was something that we were investigating as well. But
Who is we?
myself and my colleagues.
And you are?
I am part of a, and she leans in just a bit, like, a bit conspiratorially. I am of an organization very similar to Hargrave House.
Do you know about this Mr. Oda?
By all accounts, it's better funded than we are. Well,
Speaking of which, Lord Oda, you have put yourself in my debt, just so you know.
Of course.
I've bailed you out of jail
that's right.
and provided a confessional. So I think we'll see. We'll
You
see.
have also splintered my leg so handsomely in the carriage. Thank you.
Mr. Oda taking confession. Hell truly is on earth, isn't it?
Well, it can be everywhere, absolutely. So, you seem to be, like, of need of refreshment as well. I say that we should all go inside and then at least get you all cleaned up. I have an entertainment to take you to. The night is not over.
Well, Lidon, I already have refreshments for us prepared in the kitchen. I expected your evenings to be quite busy this year. And Mildred, I have prepared a bouquet for you. At least my assistants have.
Yes, I'm sure it's quite fragrant, isn't it? And Mildred will sort of like tuck into Eligos and like sort of try to usher them closer to the house.
Oh, and I refer to the American. Excuse me, are you still here in this organization? I thought it was you were just traveling.
Well, I am still here, but and they're going to turn to the. They're like not going to give you too much of notice, and they're going to turn because they know partly that's what pisses you off, and then they're going to turn to the lady and they're going to say, "My knight, however, is in fact quite over. It is, well, the moon is up and it's been up for some time. I'm not sure your version of entertainment is my cup of tea, but you never did mention, was it optional?
Well, I mean, everyone has a choice, of course. I mean, especially you would know that being an American, of course.
Freedom, freedom, freedom.
Freedom, freedom,
Alright.
freedom, absolutely.
Need to mooch off this Hargrave House. You should just go home.
Can we all stop being petty and
Please.
just retire for the night?
Did anyone hear some wind passing by?
You're being quite shameful for someone who has just been sprung out of jail.
Yes,
May I
Mr.
remind
Odian-
you?
I
Mr. Odian,
assure
you
you,
are-
he has no other way of being.
Mr. Odian in
Ah.
quite a form right now, considering your
It would
state.
be, it would be hardly Mr. Oda if he wasn't being shameful,
Well-
especially towards me. And I'm going to let her finish about the actual thing.
If you wouldn't mind, however, we may finish these barbs and spars in the salon.
Absolutely. Let us go to I guess your salon. I'm even happy to stay out in the foyer. It's quite fine. Basically,
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. Eligos, please, if you don't mind.
and so
Of course.
Lady Edwina will actually go to you, Smoke, and she will start to like kind of go side by side with you as you go inside, kind of leaving Lord Oda to figure himself out, because she wants to say, it's like, yes, tonight is optional, but I also wanted to give the option for Hargrave House to make an investigation of it as part of the entertainment. Absolutely. There might be somebody there that you might want to meet as well. I mean, other people to meet, other things to see. I mean, as far as I know, they're having a little bit of a mystery there as well, over at the Palais de Gaiete. Yes.
We are well aware.
Yes, Evelyn had said he had met you at Eligos, wasn't it?
Yes, something like that.
Yes, yes. I hope he wasn't too rude to you. He tends to be quite outspoken.
You'll find that he and I are of a kind in that way. I didn't mind it. However, you were quite insistent, and I have the distinct wriggling sense that you're going to murder us.
Now, why would you be so suspicious of everyone? Turing, do you do this too? And then she's kind of like calling out to the person
I'm going to put a
driving the
hand.
cab.
I'm going to put a hand on Eligos' shoulder and ask, and be like, well, if she does try to murder us, she will have attempted it with the wrong sort of group, don't you think?
I would... On any other night, I would agree with you. But as my lady needs at least a night of bed rest, I say with a meaningful glance to Lady Bloom, I think it better that we all retire. And if I find in the morning that anything has transpired at the Palais de Gaiete, know that we will come find you.
You are the suspicious sort. Turing, do you act this way too? And then she's referring to the fellow who was driving their cab, and you see the large figure that is sitting at the box of the cab that the carriage that they were coming out of, and he turns his head slowly, Eligos, to look at you, in a very measured look. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of smiles and kind of tips his hat to you like, yeah, I know. But what are you going to do? You know, all in one look. I think you kind of understand that look, servant to servant.
Oh, yes.
So, well, let us at least go inside, have some tea if you'd like, and then consider freshening up and coming over to the Palais de Gaiete. I will have, well, let's see. Yes, I will have my colleagues do some investigating if you choose not to, I can imagine, but I always find it's more fun to be able to find out things you're for yourself, instead of getting them second hand.
Lady,
Oh, you're on mute, Mildred.
Yeah, no, Mildred just looks up and goes, well, we know that Mr. Oda despises anything secondhand. Yes, we'll
Hmm.
freshen up. Eligos, it's all right. We can, if you choose to stay here, it's quite all right. I'll just need a moment to freshen up. And yes, an evening at the opera sounds most relaxing.
And I believe Lady Pipewell will be performing yet again. She is absolutely wonderful. Nothing to be missed. So,
Smoke is already making themselves. So when this one was talking about tea, Smoke went on ahead and started like making themselves a cup of coffee and just all the while they put away a mirror because mirror needs their sleep. Mirror needs its sleep. And the entire time, every time they turn towards the woman, like you notice that they're playing with their knife or something because they do not like the woman, and this is how they're going to show it.
I feel like we're in the day phase. If this is a second night phase, Maddie, are we doing the another
Unseen.
scene?
we are doing an unseen, but I kind of
Okay.
wanted to do a little transition thing first.
Okay. Well, perhaps we just see Lord Oda invite the lady in to do a costume change, right? And he.
She will not go with you to your rooms. I mean, she expects you downstairs, quite chop chop, if you're planning on going. And then I'm going to introduce the unseen. Yes. So, this is on the third row, second one over, Brown's Hotel. None of the 117 rooms at Brown's Hotel on Albemarle Street are the same, though they each have housed some of the most fashionable people you'll find in London or in anywhere. A concierge, Teddy Miller, delights in spying on the hotel's posh clientele. All right, so I've already signed who's doing what. So first prompt will go to Eirinar, second prompt will go to Jack, third prompt will go to Ben, and fourth prompt will go to Chris. Okay, and that's Brown's Hotel. All right, so making it quick, let's go to the first unseen prompt, assuming everybody's getting ready and all this kind of fun stuff happening. All right. Eirinar. Teddy puts his ear up against the door of a wealthy young bachelor. What does he hear that makes him desperately want the life of this young bachelor?
I'm going to say that he hears the voice of a woman, and this woman seems to be sort of singing a love song to said young bachelor. And she's serenading him, and she has a beautiful voice. And he occasionally, uh, says, gives a comment like, "Oh, bravo," or just claps, or just sort of laughs, chuckles at a part of the song or something. And Teddy feels incredibly jealous that this bachelor not only has the attentions of this young woman, but also this woman herself is quite talented, and he seems to be, able to afford a night in a hotel with her and things like that.
Okie doke. All right. So, Who is going to the Palais?
Smoke is, but Smoke is very distinctively not going to change out of their clothes, so it's going to be very ruffled, rumpled clothing, and can I say I'm carrying some kind of flask of coffee?
Oh, yeah.
Just a small,
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
And like I'm going to say maybe I'm carrying like what is basically a beer flask, like the kind you put in your pocket of coffee, and I'm just going to be sipping it throughout the night and giving this woman like the side.
That's perfectly fine. All right. And then I guess, Mildred, you're going?
Yeah. Uh, I don't know if Eligos wants to go. But she will tell him that that she won't force him to go if he's feeling tired or he needs the night off. It's totally fine. She
Right,
could
right.
take care of herself. And but when she says that, she looks totally kind of like willowy. And by the way, so the thing that I forgot to mention earlier, not to go too far off track, was that during the ritual, I did mean to like invoke the Rite of Salt and Smoke. I'm sorry I didn't call that out, but I
Okay.
did roll an 11.
Okay.
But I am willing to take a condition, just kind of offset that. So if you have a condition you want to give me, I'll totally take it.
Let me see. So, condition for that particular. How were you feeling when you were getting ready for the ritual?
I mean, during the rituals, I mean, she was anxious, but she already has anxious as a condition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But was there anything in particular that bothered you about the ritual itself, with the tome, or things that you had to do to get that ritual done?
Without getting too much into backstory, it's not the worst that she's done.
Okay.
But I mean, if you want to do something like with regards to after the ritual, that would also work.
Okay. Yeah.
She did pass out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say weakened.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, since Eligos, you're back, Mildred will go. Listen, thank you again for being at my side tonight. Always, as you want to do. I'm going to go to the play. You don't have to go if you don't wish to. Tonight is obviously an exhausting and trying evening, and if you need the night to yourself, please, by all means, do not feel like you need to come on my behalf.
I think I'm slightly offended that you think I would let you walk into the lion's den like that without me at your side.
Well, it's not that I
Really
don't want you to come there, but
He's so selfish.
I do view you as a living, breathing person. If maybe you were under the care of someone like, oh, I don't know, Mr. Oda, you would be merely an object, but to me, you are important, and your safety and your health are both important to me as well.
You make it so easy. So easy to be your servant. I think it's why I've stayed all these years. And don't worry. My personhood is not in doubt, although if we keep this up, the living and the breathing might be debatable. No, I will accompany you.
She very, very genuinely and warmly smiles, and has this like wistful look in her eyes as she looks up at him. And because she's British, she won't, but she does want to like go up and touch his cheek and kind of like rub his shoulder in appreciation. But she's British, so she can't. So she just very tightly smiles and holds it back. And I appreciate it. I'll be ready in a moment. And she'll show him out of her room.
Lord Oda, what are you wearing when you get refreshed? Like, what do you come down wearing for this thing? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I come down wearing a suit of armor. Just like I'm ready for the opera, and he has the suit of armor and then little opera glasses.
Wait,
no
is it like
helmet.
chainmail?
Yeah,
What are we talking
it is
here?
plate.
Oh God.
As you clank down the stairs, 70 pounds heavier.
I'm sorry.
Flip your visor up and hold up.
It's
thought
so
it'd
good.
be
I love
funny,
it.
but
I love it.
it's
It's
great.
so good.
It's great.
He has a cane as well to support all this weight, and also his injured leg, which is like somehow much better at this point. And he's also carrying a large bouquet of black roses. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's wearing. That's what he has.
And who do you present these black roses to?
Well, I imagine, I suppose that before we go into the carriage, he presents it to Mildred as a bouquet for her performance.
Yeah, Mildred isn't wearing a suit of armor, not tonight at least, but she did pin her hair back up and tried to like clean herself up a bit of the sweat and the blood that was like, and it's funny too, like she came clearly out of the ritual, like her mouth and front of her dress just covered in blood. So she obviously changes her dress, cleans up her chest and her chin. Mouth is still sparse. Oh. But when she gets out of her room, she's a bit shocked to see this suit of armor holding a bouquet of black flowers. And hello,
Miss Bloom, I have prepared this for the evening. I thought you might enjoy some fragrance before you go. And we're right next to the salon where the music is playing. And Lord Oda says, in my time behind bars, I've been thinking deeply about my actions, and I wanted to apologize for the way I treated your room. I was not the best individual to live with, and I regret what I did. I don't know how to say this, but if is there any way I could make you happy or somehow earn your forgiveness, I would be.
You'll forgive my saying, Mr. Oda, but I find it very difficult to believe that you understand the meaning of regret.
Well, that may be true, but I am learning. Will you have these roses?
Mr. Oda, I do appreciate the gesture, but I am no teacher. If you want to learn regret, that is something you must teach yourself. I'll see you downstairs. And she turns away and begins to walk away.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.
You need a lesson in regret.
And then, as everybody comes downstairs, Lady Edwina claps her hands together when and touring is a nice, respectful distance shadow away from her. Also looking up the stairs at you, all coming down, and she just claps her hands oh, what fun! Oh, Lord Oda. The carriage might be a little bit, might snag on that armor. Yes, usually they don't have full
My lady,
armor.
I have these roses for you. I've prepared. Will you have them? Prepare them for the most gorgeous lady I saw this evening.
Oh,
Please take them.
why, thank you. Thank you very much. It still doesn't quite take care of the problem. You may have to be out on the horse yourself.
Mildred
Lord
just gives a
Oda.
side glance to Eligos when he mentions giving her the flowers.
I don't think you're going to be able to fit with everyone into the Royal
Lord
Explorers
Oda
Club.
bends and goes to kiss her hand, if she would have it, and say, I will ride that horse like it has never been ridden.
Lady Edwina, I can assure you I've seen him in much more extravagant and heavier attire, get in 2 carriages half the size. Should we be on our way?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You're so very gracious. Chop, let us go. And then, of course, she herds everybody, into the cab, into the the hansom cab, and Gareth Kellogg is looking at you all and just being very respectful and just kind of giving Smoke the side eye. I'm like, okay, well, I guess you don't want to talk to me then. That's fine. And then he just bows and then gets up on the box and then proceeds to drive you all to the Palais. All right. So, Jack, Teddy rummages through the personal effects of an actress staying at the hotel while she is out. What does he find that makes him desire her or desire to be her?
So, as Teddy is rummaging through the effects of this actress, she's she's well known throughout Europe. Probably somewhere in her early 30s. Uh, very Rubenesque in her build, very sophisticated though. She always presents herself as sort of a leading lady. She's always cast as one anyway. And is always seen in the press as being very erudite, very sophisticated, but also a little bit chaste. She's something of a bachelorette. She hasn't found the right man. That's at least that's what the papers say. But as Teddy is going through her room, he's seen her in some plays here and there. He doesn't really go to the theater as much. Seen her in postcards, and that's really where he knows her from. She's going through her gowns and her jewelry, pockets a couple of pearl necklaces, goes through some of the cosmetics on her vanity, sniffs the perfume, and it's expensive. The bottle itself is expensive, but it smells like horse piss. He wrenches, he flinches at the scent of it. But he sees a steamer trunk tucked away in a corner, and there's actually a lock on it, which is very peculiar. Not a usual lock. It looks almost like a padlock. And him, with his background, he knows how to pick locks when he needs to. And he finds a hairpin on her vanity and bends it. And after a while, driven by curiosity, he begins to pick the lock, and he successfully unlocks it and very gently places the steamer trunk down on the floor. And when he opens it, he notices that all the gowns above are all of these kind of cream and white and bone colors, color of pearl and diamonds, all very kind of light and airy. But when he opens up this box, he sees black leather, he sees whips, he sees manacles, he sees strange electric instruments that when he turns them on have this kind of like a violet colored electricity to them. He sees horse spurs, he sees strange wooden objects. They're very long and very phallic, but he very sheepishly puts them all away and throws the trunk of the steamer on top. And then he takes a moment and looks up at those dresses again, and curiosity gets the better of him, and he opens up the trunk again and begins to go back into this steamer trunk of iniquity and begins to rifle through more of the objects before finding this what looks to be sort of like a chainmail mask, a hood, and he puts it on. It looks like something out of like if King Arthur were into BDSM. But he looks at himself in the vanity mirror, and he smiles, and then continues to go back through the trunk, just rifling through the rest of the objects until such time as he realizes that he's been there for way too long, and if he sticks around too long, he'll get caught. So he quickly takes off the hood and puts the leather and the whips back into the trunk, quickly locks it back up, and gets out of the room.
The Palais de Gaiete. So, what you find when you get there is that the lights are blazing, or I should say as if it's yet another opening night, but it's strangely quiet inside. I mean, there's no throng of people waiting to get in for the latest show or what have you. And then when she comes out of the cab, of the carriage, Lady Edwina will turn to you all and say, "Well, this is my lovely surprise. I have hired out the Palais de Gaiete, so this way, not only can we investigate freely, but there's also a show personally made for us, or I should say, a friend of mine who I'm having meet us here, to be able to just kind of give her some entertainment as well. I think we've all needed some downtime, and this is my way of helping us all to relax. So I've hired out the play, so we are free to do as much investigating as we need to, but the show will go on. Lady Pipewell will be singing, I'm sure, like some of her more talent. I can't remember.
Lady
how the
Edwina,
term
what
was.
is the
Yes.
purpose of having this young performer here while we're investigating? Aren't they in the crosshairs of this wraith?
That's the question, isn't it? This is where we're going to find out. It's either Lily DeVere or it's going to be Lady Pipewell. And what better way to find out than to try and isolate by having the show? And Lady Pipewell is quite capable of doing this as a one-person show. Absolutely. It's quite different from her usual work, believe me. This is a little bit of an homage for my friend.
Who's your friend?
Well, let us go in and let's find out, shall we? And then she heard you all in.
Mildred looks back at the others concerned now. Not like not like she wants to leave, but just definitely like be on your guard, be on your P's and Q's or whatever.
Yep. And then Eligos, you'll see like just inside, you'll see Lily DeVere kind of looking up from doing what would essentially be the ticket taker duties, or the meet and greet on the outside. And she kind of turns to you and actually comes over to you and says, "Yes, I mean, Lady, it's so wonderful to see you here, Eligos. I mean, Lady Edwina had swept down upon us this afternoon, and then said that she wanted to hire out the entire show for tonight. Lady Pipewell seems game, and I figured, well, I mean, it gives the staff a break because they still haven't been able to get that saying out of the curtains. So, I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, she said that you would all be trying to find evidence of this trickster, this person that would be, I guess, haunting the place. So if you need any assistance, I mean, I'm here. There is the bare minimum of the staff, one to, I guess, do the lights, and then another to be able to clean up after. But she's actually hired out a spread in the top box. So, I mean, you'll at least have a wonderful meal while you're watching. So.
All of this today, you say?
Yes.
What's her name? What is the manager lady's name?
Lily DeVere. Sorry.
You even said that. How is Lady DeVere?
Well, I mean, okay. So the performer is Lady Pipewell, and then
Yes.
The person you're talking to
DeVere,
is Lily.
yes.
Lily.
I am talking to Lily.
You are talking.
I thought I was talking to just some random usher.
No, because I mean, again, Lady Edwina's plan is that the two of them are here, Lady Pipewell and Lily, to try and smoke out the Wraith to figure out which one of the two. Yeah. So anyway. So yes,
be on your guard.
Absolutely. You too. So.
Of course.
And then she'll show you up to the stairs leading to the box. You've never had the opportunity to be up there yourself, Eligos. Pardon. You've always been in the stalls, but in the private boxes. Above the hoi polloi, those with means may secure a modicum of privacy for their excesses, while garnering a better view of the stage. Each box holds about half a dozen occupants comfortably, depending on how intimate one intends on becoming. The doors may be latched from within and opened with a key from without. Paint the scene. What signs of casual indulgence or unconventional taste can we see in the different velvet-flocked boxes? It's a question for everyone.
We see in one box that there's a bath that is being drawn, and it has a view directly to the stage.
Well, not currently, but yeah, there's just a bathtub up there.
I'm going to say one of the boxes almost has like basically a terrarium inside it. Like it's basically a tiny garden area that it has. They're probably like the kind of plants that don't need a lot of sunlight, and someone's probably been watering them. But yeah, they're fairly well kept.
All of the boxes are usually draped in like red velvet and silk, and there's usually like golden embroidery on the curtains that conceal the box when it's closed off, and there's like like golden sculpted reliefs on the exterior. But there's one specific box that's different from all the others. It's just as extravagant, but its entire color story is like a sapphire blue color, and the curtains that conceal it are all this like sapphire blue brocade, and the chairs are upholstered with sapphire blue velvet.
Okay. Pardon. All right. So, you're shown to this box, and as Lily said, I mean, aside from the seating, there's a sideboard filled with what would essentially be a feast for as many people that are here. So, I mean, that is comprised of you four, as well as Lady Edwina. She has touring kind of upon attendance, like in the corner. And then you see in the opposite corner, standing there, Mildred. You recognize Kemuel. His back is to you, but you recognize his long hair. And he's speaking with a woman who is shorter than him. Then you see wisps of straggly gray hair peeking out from under her red cloak. It's a deep red cloak. And they seem to be in like hushed whispers to each other. And then she sees you all come in. And then she kind of shrinks in upon herself a little bit, and she starts muttering to herself in the corner. Kemuel turns to you, or sees you, Mildred, and then seeks to come closer to you.
Do we recognize the older woman, or the woman with at least the wispy hair? Is the older one? Like, what's her age?
Probably looks like in her 60s and such.
Yeah.
But it's like mostly in shadow because again she's over by the by the table that isn't lit up by the stage lights or by the candles that are in the sconces. And like Kemuel turns to you and looks very happy to see Mildred. It's like, oh, Miss Bloom, it is wonderful to see you again.
I did not expect to see you here, Mr. Tigarius.
Yes, I mean, I had mentioned, but I did not say. I was working for a lady, and then he inclines his head towards Lady Edwina, who's beaming on everybody,
No, you hadn't. Your lady is quite peculiar, but it is good to know that she is your lady, that you weren't just, making things up or trying to create some sort of strange cover for yourself for visiting my house.
I mean everything in all seriousness when I say But it is good to see you. I hope we can complete our investigations tonight.
Our investigations.
Lady Edwina has created this event for the benefit of both houses, both yours and ours, but also as a, I don't know, present of sorts for our mutual friend over here. And then he gestures to the woman who's muttering in the corner.
I'm sorry, milady. I have not properly introduced myself. Mildred does a bit of a curtsy. I'm Mildred Bloom.
She's looking down, this woman, and you can sort of catch little murmurs, like under her breath, like what she's saying, and then she's kind of like partly speaking in a strange tongue that you don't necessarily recognize, and then she'll also talk about and the chains that bind, and the chains that clutch, and the things that just work over, and the bonds that break, and the bonds that bind. And then she will, catch a little sing-song thing under her breath as well, before she finally looks up at you and says, "Charmed, I'm sure." And her eyes sparkle at you with the light of stars.
And your name, madam?
My name is not important. Names, what's a name? What's your name? I think Kemuel had told me it was Bloom, right?
Yes.
Bloom with like a rose. You are like a rose. Do you smell as sweet?
I'm not sure. I prefer lavender.
And then she goes on about the sweetness of the flowers, and then sweetness of the delicacies on the table, and then she encourages you to eat before she starts to mutter under her breath again.
As that's happening, Mildred will, while still looking at this old woman, will look to Camuel and say, "How is she involved with this? And if it's possible, I'd like to roll the information move."
Sure, absolutely. I encourage you all to. Absolutely. Roll with, I believe presence makes sense here. Yeah, because you're trying to get information from him. Yeah.
Okay. That is a 10 plus something. 10 plus 1, 11.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. All right. Anybody else doing any kind of investigating while you're here, having noshies or talking possibly to other people? But Evelyn's here, just so you know.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, out of character. Does everyone know about the situation here?
Does who?
Is it clear what this investigation is? Like, this has all been relayed in the carriage by the... does all the hunters know basically what we're investigating here, or?
I mean, I would imagine so. I think, of course, Lady Edwina being in her way, she would be kind of laying it out on the table, saying it's and this is kind of, what we can do here.
Yeah.
Or even in the foyer, on the way up into the box, So she's hired this place out. She's encouraging, all of you to do some investigation, and then also, having some refreshments. And then down the way on the stage, there is a show going on. I mean, the woman who's muttering in the corner, whose name that she will not say, is basically kind of watching, alternating between mutters, and then Turing is sort of watching as well. So he's kind of like overseeing the balcony a bit.
Mm.
So I mean, like he's able to see from his vantage point. And Evelyn's just kind of sprawled in the one corner, just like, relaxing and just kind of looking at everybody with a grin and just like, yeah, like have some of those like, the little meat pies. This is like fabulous. Absolutely. That sort of thing. So
It's beautiful.
yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Lord Oda will try to take the stage. Of course.
You're gonna go down to the stage?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Let me go ahead and read something off about that. Give me a second.
If possible, go from stage left or stage right. Somehow get backstage and then onto the stage.
Well, I mean, it's...
I was going to say I wanted to go backstage as well, though not to get onto the stage eventually.
Right.
I want to just sort of go backstage and catch a glimpse of the performer from the wings.
Yes.
And
for
also
sure.
just look around backstage.
Absolutely. So, like, just getting to the stage, period. Lit by bright gaslight, the stage has a succession of trompe l'oeil backdrops evoking different settings, both exotic and local. An orchestra pit situated in front of the stage provides accompaniment to the varied performances. This has a skeleton crew, by the way, of orchestra people, because I mean, again, it's just like kind of Lady Pipe while doing a one person show. Paint the scene. Viewed from the stage, what do we see that breaks the illusion of mystique and grandeur that suffuses the music hall? And if you don't have anything for this, I don't blame you, so it's fine.
That breaks the grandeur?
Breaks the illusion of mystique and grandeur that suffuses the music hall. Yep.
If you look carefully, you notice the way the sort of lights and curtains are set up and all the gears and chains beside them. And like they're a little bit of a stark contrast to the more lush, velvety, satiny things that generally decorate the stage. So you have these like metallic, maybe even rusty materials that sort of is like a stark contrast.
Also, every square inch of backstage is covered in nearly a century of petty graffiti from various actors and crew.
I think looking out from the stage, the illusion of grandeur is that there's like this beautiful sculpted piece that like it's affixed to the front of the stage. It's this kind of like Baroque looking scene of these cherub angels fluttering about with beautiful women. But from the back of the stage, we could see that the gold paint is peeling off, and we could see that it's just like plaster that's been cobbled together.
Yeah. So we see a nurse from what is the name of the hospital that we referenced in the Unscene?
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas just get off her work. She's bone weary. This is for the whole hall, correct? Or just where?
Yeah, but remember, this is like been hired out, so like nobody else is here for this performance except
Oh,
for
never
you
mind.
guys.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. What breaks the glamour of the hall is from the blue curtains in that sapphire booth. Red trickle of blood starts to seep out from within.
Not sure if I'm gonna make that like it's a stage thing or if
It
it's an
might-
actual
I-
clue thing. Like what you guys see. So anyway, like I want you two to roll, like, whether you guys are together or if you're like coming from opposite sides. Go ahead and roll Lord Oda and Smoke, please.
Yeah, so is this a night move?
No, I mean, like, I'm just gonna call it a regular investigation move right now. I mean, like, I'm not gonna call it like risky just yet because again, it's like,
Okay, so I'm investigating.
I mean, a night move. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm not gonna call it a night move because it's not really risking anything just yet. So.
Okay, so
What do you want us to roll
sorry.
with?
Um, do reason? Yeah. Nothing's setting you guys off yet for anything else. So yeah, I would say just plain straight reason.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for anything. I just want to go on stage and sing out. So I guess what the investigation would be like, if I do get on stage, it's like what I want to do is like say a monologue, and in doing so, look out at the place and see what I see. So it's I'm like, yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
do want to look around. Like I want to sort of look around for stuff in that backstage wingsy area.
that's fine.
So I
Okay.
am.
So investigative. So information move for you, Smoke, with reason, and then for Lord Oda, go ahead and do night move with presence.
Beautiful.
9.
Oh, and then I'm sorry, Lord Oda, do yours with disadvantage
Yeah.
because your most beloved will definitely affect you in this case.
I'm just trying to remember the order of steps for the night moves. Trying to find.
What do you think will go wrong?
Okay, so, so should I just describe what I do, and then I look out and I say, what is it called? Ah, Lord, what fools these mortals be! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Lady Pipewell's like not feeling too fond of, like, you know, you're just strutting out on stage. So again, night move.
What I'm afraid will happen is that a large. I feel, what I fear may happen would be that from above, one of the pulleys that hold up the curtains, of the facades, the drapes, the bars will suddenly fall upon me and kill me.
Yeah, I think death. Well, like a type of death. Yes, will probably be bad for sure. And then you will be well.
Credit
the
from
Wraith
the
will.
Times will give me a bad review. Oh, that's so much better though.
He'll say it's wooden.
Right.
The critic is Lady Pipewell. She writes her own reviews. That's her secret.
There you go. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, the way it's worse is the fact that, like, not only is something going to fall and try to kill you, but the Wraith will take it out on you, because it's like, you know, you've, now it's not conclusive yet, but I mean, like, you know, you've interrupted a performance. So it's like they're not very happy about it. So roll with disadvantage.
Could someone see what my presence is?
It is 2.
It is 2. Okay. So I'm gonna 3d6.
2 lowest.
Oh, two is right.
Yep.
Come on, Google. Go, go, go. Okay. Yeah, so I have a 6 plus 2 is an 8.
Okay. All right. So you are able to do this monologue, but Lady Pipewell is again not feeling very happy with what you are doing, interrupting her performance, and so therefore will start to, like, as you're talking, she will get in front of you and then sing out to drown you out. Okay? So, all right. So going back to Eligos. Before I go back to Mildred, what are you rolling? Are you investigating? What are you doing?
I'm investigating.
Okay. Where and how?
I'm going to try and get at the I mean, I would love to question Lady Pipewell, but she is otherwise indisposed again.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Lord Oda, for making my life so easy. I think instead I'm going to go into the back of house and look at the the logbook, the sort of to check their accounts.
Okay. Sure. All right, let me just double check to see if there was anything here for the.
If there's nothing to find, please let me know.
No. Hold on. Like stalls, private box, dressing room. Okay. Yeah. So you basically go into well, I mean, like you're heading towards the offices part of the theater, of the hall.
Yes.
Okay. I don't particularly have a paint the scene for right now, but I do want to kind of like mosey it along. So say that you're able to get into the office fairly easily. I mean, again, like Lily's occupied elsewhere, trying to just make sure that everything else is going well, so you can get into the office quite easily. However, yeah, go ahead and roll me with composure. Yeah.
I think I have 2 composure.
I think so too. I mean, basically, it's like if Lily catches you, though, I mean, like, you're in for it because, I mean, she considers you a friend.
Oh, I know. That is another 9. This time it's a 7 plus 2.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's go to the next unseen prompt before I go deal with everybody's roles. Teddy draws a hot bath for a pair of good-looking young men staying in the same room. In what ways does Teddy help bring the erotic subtext of this scene to the fore?
Yeah, Teddy not merely draws the bath, he assists in soaping up the young men, 2 veterans from the Boer War, amputees with heavily decorated uniforms strewn aside. While he begins to assist him with the expected tasks asked of him at the front desk, they beckon him to get wet, holding out 2 black flowers. At first caught off guard, he relaxes, bows, and subsequently assists in creating a wonderful evening, one long to remember.
Okay. I apologize, my dear. You were talking with Kemuel, correct?
Yes, I was trying to get some information from him.
Fabulous. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what he tells you, of this, what he knows, like he's willing to share information, is that basically there is some news of an illicit business being run behind the scenes here. So it's something having to do with, smuggling opium. And that's a clue. Okay? And then for Smoke's role, you went backstage for this, correct?
Yep, I was looking around backstage.
Okay.
Partial. It was a partial.
Okay. And you find a cleanly cut guy line, or like like something similar for sabotage. You can tell that it is not supposed to look like this.
What line? I'm sorry.
It's like one of those lines, the pulleys for the
Okay.
or the set. It's a cleanly.
Right.
Yeah. And your complication is, you see that there is a shadow up near where you were like looking, like up in the gods, which is the series of catwalks and basically like the catwalks that are like above the stage, high above the stage. You can see like a shadow there. All right, and then Eligos, a 9. You remind me where you were searching again? I'm sorry. Like you were searching up, like up there, up in the box. Oh, you're on mute.
I was searching the offices.
The offices. Sorry. Okay. You see a news article concerning the death of Lily's parents, clipped out and well handled. I just threw it into the chat so you can see it.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Lord Oda, an 8. So you're able to get as far as you get, before like Lady Pipewell decides to kind of drown you out, essentially, and then then you hear a shout up from the gods. Can't see because the stage lights are in your face, and you're just speaking out to what looks like the darkened theater, and basically the Wraith will pipe up. Sorry. You are trying to keep me from my love, and you stepped into my domain to do so. That was very foolish of you. But welcome to the show. Love never dies, but I am afraid the same won't be true for you. And then you hear like a creak and a shudder. And then one of the catwalks of the gods starts to fall, or at least one end starts to fall as it swings down towards the both of you, Lady Pipewell and Lord Oda.
Yeah. Are we cutting away, or should I react to this?
I am going to cut away and get into the last prompt. Teddy returns to his tiny, dingy flat in East London. What do we see in Teddy's apartment that shows how he tries to incorporate bits of glamour into his dull gray life? That's for you, Chris.
Teddy has just the finest crown you have ever seen. The crown of England is, of course, the highest crown, but this is an even greater replica, except puts the crown of all Byzantium and Persia to shame, except that it's obviously all made of cardboard, foil, and paste.
All right. Okay. So, yeah. Lord Oda, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think Lord Oda is singing once Pipewell has, starts to pick up to try to take the stage. And he steps behind her, singing the same song, and wraps his hands around and whispers, "My love, we must take stage left. Look up." And he's like singing this in like almost actually in perfect tune with her. I mean, Lord Oda's voice is song, right? It is like a recitative of an opera. And he takes her hand, wraps her within his chainmailed body, right? And I'm going to be using the picture depicting my own grisly death, which I had seen at the play with me without armor, having done this with the lady, and dying. But hopefully with this armor I have prepared, I will not have this grisly death that was so depicted. and I wrap her in an embrace, and it's just a very intimate embrace as the rafters above come to fly at us.
I have a question. Do I see this? Because I was in the wings.
This is what I'm imagining. Of course, Mads, you can change the narrative.
I mean, you know, what are you really doing? And yes, Smoke, you can see this, like you can hear it. Like everybody can hear it. Like it creaks and it starts to swing towards the two of them on the stage.
I'm trying to save Lady Pipewell.
Okay. So you're using your picture, so I would say risky with disadvantage and with vitality.
Yeah, so it cancels out.
Okay, great. So
And
straight with vitality.
vitality. Oh my gosh, what's my vitality?
1.
It is a 1. Beautiful. Yeah, and so what I'm afraid will happen is I'm afraid that Lady Pipewell won't appreciate this later.
I think it's worse than that. I think you guys are gonna get hit, and then she's gonna die, and then like you're gonna be like a little bit more broken, but I mean like you'll still be alive. So not good. What's your roll?
I'm rolling a 2 and a 6, so 8 plus 1 is 9. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you managed to get her out of the way. I think.
Oh, I think it lands on us, but somehow, like,
you're in full plated. It makes sense.
Full plated, and that's what happened.
Like basically, you're on top of her, and like you take the brunt of it, like rather than she does, and she's just like looking at you in horror, like, "Oh my god!"
And he starts to sing,
Oh my god! All right, so holy crap, a doodle do. Okay, and then we're looking on in horror at this. So anybody else want to do anything as we close this out?
I was going to say, I think Smoke is going to sort of go up and push both of these two, including a singing Lord Oda. I am so sorry, there's a dog outside. Including a singing Lord Oda out of the way of any other potential rafter hits. And just sort of like Smoke was probably left like the moment the first rafter hit, but I'm pretty sure they didn't make it in time, so it was just like at least protect these two from despite whatever Lord Oda's this thing is with Smoke issues. But yeah, just push them out of the way.
Got it. Okay.
I think once the rafters fall onto both of them, and there's an initial moment where Mildred's obviously taken by surprise and looks up at the stage in horror, and seeing like Smoke there trying to get to them. She's instinctively wants to go and check it out and breaks away from Kemuel, but as soon as she starts to hear singing coming out from underneath the rafters, she stops and stands back. She knows he's okay, and she doesn't have time for this.
Right. Not for him. And Eligos, anything to close?
I mean, it's an awful lot of noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'll be my closer.
Okay. Got it. All right. So, real quick, just to kind of go over them, and then we'll go over Eligos and Mildred more leisurely, at least a few more minutes. Real quick, let's do Smoke. You answered a question. You resolved a threat, so you get those points. Did you experience an echo in the night? I think you did. Pretty sure you did. I did,
and
phases.
In the first, at least in the first one I did, but I can't remember what it was, but I think I did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. Okay, so you get those 3. Did you have a raw, passionate sexual encounter during which your feral nature manifested? No. Okay. Did you use violence to solve a problem? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get those 4 points. Okay. All right, and then undeniable. Did you answer a question? Yes. Did you resolve a threat? Yes. Did you experience an echo in the night? Oh yes. I heard that, definitely several times. Goodness. Did you express a clear preference for the beautiful over the mundane? You're on mute.
I did. Because I said to the lady Tidwell, I forget her name. The lady,
Sojourn.
Sojourn from I said, I would prefer to be rescued by a beautiful lady like herself, unlike all the other hunters of Hargrave House.
Gotcha. Okay, get that point. So that's 4 points added to you. And then, did you create an ornate, over-the-top erotic experience for someone else's pleasure? Pretty sure no, not this one, not this time.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe just me singing underneath the rubble with Ms. That doesn't work. Okay,
No,
no,
no. So
not enough.
just 4 points for today.
Okay.
All right, and then okay. So let's real quick. The rewards I posted in the chat, but I will go over them real quick so this way you guys can choose. So for the Saint Cecilia's Gargoyle, O'Donnell's Crucifix Blessed in Holy Water. Father O'Donnell becomes a recurring side character. You get 1 extra clue on the information move when you attend confession with him and ask for guidance on the spiritual. Okay? A fang, a claw, or other appropriate natural weapon for the gargoyle. Or a memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is and then add it to your personal quarters. And then there's also another memento that another hunter can give you as well. So those are 5 rewards. Each of you would pick one of those. So, what does Lord Oda and what does Smoke want from that stack? Along with
If Lord Oda is not taking it, or if honestly no one else wants it, I would love another sharp, pointy thing that I can do violence with.
love it.
I think I'm going to get, like, it says any appropriate natural weapon, right? Can I have a sharp scale from one of its wings? Quote unquote stone scale.
I think it was like natural feathers though. That
Oh,
I
it
had
was
established.
feathers?
It was regular
Okay.
feathers.
You
Yeah.
could stab a guy with feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
stone
if
feather.
you will let me have a sharp feather that I can stab people with, I
Sure.
will take it.
Stone feather.
Yeah, I forget like where the different wings, the pin wings or whatever, but I mean like like there's big wings, the big feathers on like the wingspans. So yeah, go ahead and take that. All right. Lord Oda, what do you want from the
I would
rewards?
like to ask Ms. Bloom for a reward.
Okay.
Yes. So let me do you mind if I think on that? And
Yeah.
message it. Yeah, I gotta think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then so if you two have to go ahead and then do stars and wishes in the chat, in the group chat, and then we will see you guys next week. Oh my gosh. It's like what a wackadoodle
This
session.
sure has been.
Yep, I will be hopping off. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
I actually have an idea for you, Lord Soda. I'll DM it to you because it might be a little too racy, but
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's
then
okay.
yeah.
Gargoyle's dick.
That's actually what
oh
it
my
was. That's what it
god.
was.
Oh my gosh. All
Hey.
right.
That's
Is
what
it
it was.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right,
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
The gargle dick.
Okay, so for you two, let's go over questions first. Okay, so Factotum. Answer question: yes. Resolve a threat: yes. Echo in the night for either one, either one of the night.
What?
Unseens.
Night echoes. Oh. What does that mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. Echo in the night. This
Yeah.
is the first time that you've done this with us. Oh my
I
goodness.
think, yes, it is. I've
Holy
never
crap, I'm
completed a
so
night
sorry.
phase.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, wonderful. So, Echo in the Night is, of course, with trying to tie in thematically somehow or sensually, like some kind of with the senses between a hunter scene and the unseen. And since you had 2 night phases in this particular session, it's like, there was plenty of opportunity to try to tie them in. I feel
I
like
didn't
I
know
heard
that
you.
was
I feel like you did to some degree.
Yeah, I think you did. Well, like
'cause-
without even knowing it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't
like,
know
you
that
knew
was a
about
thing
it.
to shoot for. I
Because
thought
your
it
first
was
thing was the
Gosh.
crown. Oh, your second thing was the crown. The first thing was
a poker game.
was the stealing of things. It was like
Yeah.
stealing precious
right,
items
yeah.
from the dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
stealing
I feel like
lockets and rings
that
and
would
stuff.
tie into the I feel like that would tie into the whole like, we had to use these essentially
I mean,
stolen items from dead people to finish
Yeah.
the ritual with the gargoyle.
No, yeah, I think you. I
Sure.
think you did. Pretty sure you did. So, but basically, that's what it is.
I mean, I'll take it. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was a thing to shoot for, so I was intentionally trying to not do that. But
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, but you did it anyway,
it's
so
not
that's good.
supposed to be involved. But no, it's the thematic
well,
connections. Now I'm seeing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, I mean, it could be a visual. It could be like blood, like wine pouring, or drink being spilled, blah blah blah. Something to kind of like hook it in, or
Okay.
some people have even mentioned like actual
Something
names of
involves
like,
that.
okay, just like that person, but I mean, they're not in the scene, like they're not connected in any way. So it's weird. Yeah, there's ways to
I
get that for sure.
Don't think I engaged in petty reprisal of a person that angered my employer, unless you count hucking dynamite at the gargoyle.
Mm,
Which, yeah,
no, not really,
my
but
employer was not really angry this session.
well, I mean, like knowing that there's like some kind of rancor between Mildred and Lord Oda. I don't know about reprisal though. I mean, I know you two like
Just do it
exchange
next
barbs.
time.
I'll
Just
do
do
it.
yeah.
Just listen.
put it like
I'm
a-
just waiting for a relatively chill night phase to do
Yeah,
some
just-
practical jokes. Don't
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
just put
worry.
some broken glass in one of his boots. It'll be fine.
There you
Oh,
go.
he's into that shit. You
Yeah,
gotta
it's
go
just-
weirder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like that.
Did you demonstrate obsequious behavior toward your employer in front of others? I'm kind of sure
Yes,
you
definitely, absolutely.
did. Okay, so you get 4 points tonight. So I mean, like
Cool.
stack
So
them
that
on
is
top of all
a
that, and then you're
level
up
and
for an
level up,
advancement. Yeah,
Yes.
and then put that 1 point in, like start over, and then like
I'm
add that
gonna
point in.
increase an ability modifier. Actually,
you
let me
go.
look at my moves first, but I really think I ought to have a if I'm gonna be one of the two punchy guys, I ought to have a +1
punchy
in
guys.
vitality.
Love it, love it, love it.
I'm right.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, and then just clear the XP track except for 1 because it's like you went
Right,
1 over.
yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Got
And
it.
then, all right. So let's see. Okay, reward. Which of the rewards left do you two want for the gargoyle?
I mean, I know I'm not supposed to make my own, but I have a pretty good idea for one. If you wanted, Lady Emily, like a perfectly preserved image from the stained glass window that we shattered.
What's the other one? The crucifix?
Yeah, crucifix, the recurring side character, or a memento.
I don't care
Yeah.
about the side character. Yeah, I'll take the memento.
Listen, Father O'Donnell's good. He's not recurring.
Yeah, no, he's
He
fine.
can be one off. He's fine.
But yeah, if you want to give me something, Eligos, please.
Yeah, I'd like a picture of something in the stained glass window.
Like a
Image of your
photograph?
choice: a dog, a fool.
Like a photograph or
No. So like, remember we shattered that window?
yeah.
I want a big chunk from the window with like a saint's face on it or something.
Okay. Or maybe it's just like the piece of glass that we used to cut into the thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe other parts of it. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's somewhat put back together but not complete.
All right.
So
Well,
that's
you could-
fine.
I'll say
You
it's a
can't
piece of.
really.
I'll say it's an image of the devil's face from the stained glass window.
Okay, so what are you
Oh,
claiming,
that's a good
Eligos?
one. I guess I'll claim whatever the other one was. I don't know. Do you have anything for me, Jack?
Well, I mean,
None of
like,
these are really cool.
Oda's already done that one. So basically, you gave.
You have the crucifix or you have the father.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care about the father, and I don't care about the crucifix.
You get to take one or the other.
Well, I'll get the crucifix then.
There
Okay.
you go.
So yeah, O'Donnell's crucifix blessed in holy water. Okay, so put that in your personal quarters.
Sure.
I mean, like, you're not necessarily going to use all of the personal quarters stuff or whatever.
No,
so
but
it's
also, crucifix probably ain't bad.
Yeah.
I'd trust you to throw a vampire at us at some point.
fine.
There you go.
We'll see. We'll see.
Who knows? Maybe I'll have to stake
Lord Oda.
Turing through
Yeah.
it, through with it.
Oh my gosh.
Or Lord Oda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something like that. Somebody's
Always a
gonna-
good option.
Always a good option. Yes. Okay.
Oh, I should have pestered Turing way more.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious, but yeah. I mean, then well, let's put it this way: you're not gonna lose any opportunity on that one.
Do you want one detail from my backstory in a DM that I think will find well, I say one detail. It's like my whole deal, but I think it will
I'm
inform Turing.
sure. I'm curious to see what that.
I'll
I'm
DM
sure
you.
curious to see what that's gonna be. You answered a question, resolved a threat. I heard some echoes in the night there. My
The
God.
stone baby was my attempt at that.
Absolutely. Holy crap. That was amazing.
That was, yeah.
That was holy shit.
You're really fucking good at this, Jack.
He is. He's
Thank
so
you.
good at this. Oh my God.
I'm like jealous. Between you and Ben, I feel like I barely need to talk. It's just the vibes
Oh my
are
God, you
already
should
there.
talk more. Eligos is great.
Yeah, Eligos is wonderful. So please feel free. Bring it on.
Yeah, of course.
Did you have a face-to-face encounter with a dark entity? I'm gonna say
Gee, I
yeah.
wonder.
Gee, yeah. Okay.
Gee, I wonder.
Did you perform a ritual? Yeah,
Gee, I
duh.
wonder. Yeah.
So yes, you get an advancement, and then you have two spill over for
Yeah.
next time. Okay.